In May 2015, there'll be a general election. And one of the key themes and battleground issues between the various parties will be the future of local government and the extent to which both local people, but as well as professionals, practitioners and local councillors have a say in determining the issues in their area. Over the last 20 years, there's been an increasing polarisation between those that are looking to centralise decision making and the ways in which services are managed, and those that are arguing for greater devolution and decentralisation. In a way, we can see this debate as being not just about the so-called postcode lottery, the idea that where you live might depend on what kind of access to resources you get because of local discretion decision making, but much more about how we tailor services to meet the needs of local communities. In the 1980s, local government in the UK, in particular Labour-run urban authorities and some Liberal Democrat authorities in inner city areas, introduced and experimented with different ways of managing and organising services. They went under the theme of going local, and they were the first quite significant attempt to introduce greater discretion in decision making, to try to link the services that were provided in local neighbourhoods with the needs and the priorities set by local residents in collaboration with councillors and professionals. By the end of the 1980s, that experiment had pretty much failed. A combination of increasing centralisation from the Thatcher government and cuts to budget meant the opportunities to exercise discretion became less and less. Throughout the 1990s, both the Labour government and before it the Major government introduced different measures aimed at urban regeneration in local areas. Whilst the schemes had different labels, they all had similar approaches to trying to identify local problems with local solutions. Since 2010, the scope for discretion, in other words, the potential to act differently in a particular area compared to another, has got less and less. One of the consequences of the public spending cuts since 2010 has been that local authorities are finding themselves increasingly under pressure, not just to balance their books and meet their statutory obligations, but also to try to provide services which are tailored to local areas. On the whole, that attempt to tailor services has largely failed. So a key issue coming up in May 2015 will be the extent to which local services can meet local needs. As part of the I4P talks and as part of the work of I4P, we'll be looking at the different approaches and ways that both practitioners, community activists, local councillors have tried to grapple with this problem. It's not just a marginal issue, it's quite a profound one, because it raises not just the question of how much money is there, but how the money is raised and the extent to which local people, local councillors can prioritise services that meet the needs of their areas. It's part of our work and we'll hope you'll follow it over the course of the next 6 months.